Okay, so this is a check-in for owning mistakes that I've made. I'm trying to get better. I am trying to plug holes in my game. I have, I think, quite a few. I think they come in big, deep stack errors where I probably have the play right up through the flop, maybe the turn, and I can't make the right fold, or maybe I don't do pot odds right or something like that. But it only happens rarely, maybe once or twice a session, but these are enough to lose huge stacks over. So I need to figure these out. Recently, I worked on my ace king pre-flop play because I lost stacks by going all in pre-flop with ace king and running into aces, and kings, and that's pretty hard to fathom. There's over 3 sessions, lost a stack, lost stack, lost stack. I'm not really talking about the days that I win because it doesn't really matter. I'm not learning much there. I'm learning mostly when I lose and figuring out these errors and how to plug them. So that's why I'm going to address as my errors, not my good games. Over the last like couple of weeks, I've been about um, even. I have a good game, then a bad game, good game, bad game. So no upswing here, just kind of battling through these things. So this is on March 5th, 2025. I'm at the Wynn playing 2-5. It's the first time I've been back in Las Vegas for a few days. Kind of excited to get out there. It was a total of 8 hours. Probably should have called it well earlier. Probably should have called it like 3 or 4 hours because I think my mind changed. But I lost a $1,500, which is a single large buy-in. Normally I buy in for 1,000 maybe, and then I have 500 add on at any time just to keep it at 1,000. Um, so I had two huge errors, and that was like literally everything. That was my whole stack on just two errors. Uh, in the first 2 hours, I ran my stack up to like 2,700 off of. Got sets twice, stacked someone who had like maybe ace king when I hit a set, and then a couple other value hands. Errors started after I knew that I was controlling the table. I was three betting appropriately. People were kind of annoyed. I was showing up with the nuts, um, and I got a little bit confident. So when I get overconfident, call confidence tilt, I play differently, play more aggressively, probably expect to win some hands that I shouldn't be winning. And this is where I can lose a stack. So this confidence tilt is something that I have in my tilt profile. I'll talk about the tilt profile some other video, but um, I definitely started playing a little bit different. So I've been betting this guy aggressively. He's to the right of me. He's like a young Swedish, maybe a pro, maybe a regular. I don't know, but he knows his ranges, knows what he's doing in general. Um, this is like the fourth time I had three bet him, and he has four bet me a couple times, and then I call, and then he shows down with nothing. So I know that he four bets bluff sometimes. This time I four bet, or I three bet, and he four bets out of position, and I call with 6-5 of clubs. Pot is now $240. He's got maybe 1,100 behind. Flop is king 4-3, two spades. I have an open ender. He bets 25% pot. I call, and the turn is a six of hearts. So I do get a pair, which is kind of annoying. He bets $400 on the turn, which was let's see, we probably had close to 400, about maybe a little 125% pot. Um, I was wondering if I could get away at this point. I called, and I was also thinking pretty clearly at this point, um, because I was running good, so I was making, I think, relatively good decisions. So I think maybe a call is okay, especially he check the river if he had nothing and give up his bluff, and I would catch it with a pair of sixes. And then the river's nine of clubs, so I missed my open ended straight draw, and he shoves for $600, which at that point was about, let's see, pot was 1,000 or more, so 50%. This is a error I've had a couple times where I call off these big bets on the river as a bluff catch. Three streets of value. I mean, what is he supposed to have? Ace king here and aces, a set of kings. Probably not going to bet so aggressively. I tried to put him on like ace five suited or one of his bluffs that he was doing four betting, but he had after he four bet and then missed the flop, he would check it down. So three streets of aggression I should be giving up here, and I did not give up. So we'll get to that hand in a minute. because I ran the scenario and I have it on GTO Trainer, but I didn't save this other one, and this is the other big stack that I dropped. It's about hour 6. I've been calling back after about 3 hours of slight card debt. I made a couple good bluffs actually against that Swedish guy earlier in the day to get maybe $100 here, $100 there. So now I'm about $200 down overall, a little bit tired and bored. New table, more or less. Actually, the Swedish guy left after I showed him a couple bluffs, and our table had gone a little bit dead. So now we got a couple guys that are new. Um, Action is pretty good. There's like at least 2 clear fish. One guy that I mean, I guess after today, I respect his game quite well because he smoked me with this hand. Um, but it's some British guy that is clearly paying attention. He was totally involved in the game. Body language is that he was paying attention to every hand. I was bored and not paying attention. I was doing Duolingo, and maybe he was getting some exploitative reads on me because he was paying attention. Uh, that's what I'm thinking. Or he just has this great line that he took. But this hand is where I lost my whole stack. Next, um, for the past like 30 minutes, I'd raise pre-flop, and he would maybe call from the big blind, and whatever the flop was, it'd be okay for me to bet maybe ace high or jack high, and I sized my 33 or 66% bets, and he just kept raising that. And one or two times I had it, most of the times I didn't, and I just kind of fold because they were more or less range bets. So I'm like, this guy really likes to check raise flops. So I'm kind of annoyed with that because I'm like, all right, maybe he's a gambler. I'm gonna show up with the nuts sometime. So it is another hand where I raise queen 8 of hearts in the hijack, maybe a little bit loose open, but that's okay, because people behind me were not three betting. Small blind, enemy calls and big blind calls. Flop is king 9-6, 2 hearts. This is definitely a flop that I should be betting. Small blind calling is kind of a funny range because he had been three betting pre-flop too. So I hadn't seen him just flat in the small blind. He checks, I bet 66% pot with the heart draw, and he re-raises me after kind of thinking about it, almost acting like he was going to fold. So clearly it turned into a Hollywood move. So he got me, and I'm going to make sure I don't get got again in this scenario. So he re-raises me. This is like the fifth time in a row. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I have hearts, so I'm gonna either call, but I'm gonna see if he's just raising with air, and so I min click. And then he shoves for $1,000 over top. And so it went from a $15 bet to 45 to 115 and then to a shove. So what does he have in this range? I have no idea. It seems like does he really have aces or kings or ace king? I don't think so. He'd be three betting that from the small blind. Um, is he going to be going that aggressive with pocket nines or pocket sixes? I don't see that. Maybe king nine. I mean, king nine, some suited. Yeah, I think maybe that's the only thing I had him on. But I'm like, maybe king nine, but he was pretending to fold. So then I'm like, maybe he's got like 2, 3 of hearts, 3, 4 of hearts, 4, 5 hearts. So I'm just thinking he's just got two under hearts, and I I called for 800% pot. So assuming he's got two under hearts, I think A, I'm good. B, I'm drawing better. C, he's been so aggressive that I'm like, am I really going to just fold to every bit of aggression? And I literally say, "Oh, you just want to gamble today," and I click in the call. I hit a queen on the turn, which I'm like, "Oh, okay, that basically gives me some security against him hitting a random pair from his lower heart draw." And it turns out he had ace king. So wonderful over bet. I didn't do the pot odds. Like I was frustrated from the way he was playing, maybe a little bit bored and tilted, so I wasn't able to. I hadn't been paying attention, so I don't know how he's been playing besides the hands I was in. I didn't watch any of his showdowns with any other hands. So I lost my stack there. These are huge errors that it's like, okay, $100 in the pot, and maybe I can just fold for 1,000. Um, I guess I should. I mean, yeah, I'm coin flipping against the king, but I thought I was winning at the point. But still, maybe I have to respect that over bet. But I see in GTO Pile Solver sometimes there are these weird huge overbetting lines, and I guess he had this one. So maybe this I'm just way outplayed. This guy, I haven't lost a hand where I was way outplayed in a while. Most of the time, it's me just like overcalling or not getting the pot odds or just um, being tilted and doing dumb stuff. But I mean, I guess this was tilted and dumb stuff. But to have him on Ace King was just I just couldn't fathom that he'd have Ace King there. I just did not put that in my. Uh, I just missed it, and I guess you can flat Ace King from the small blind. I don't know how deep you have to be to flat Ace King. I'm pretty sure it's always a three bet, but because he didn't, he got me and baited me, and I lost a stack. So I ran Pio Solver for this hand. This is the King 9 6 2 hearts. Um, I gave this as my range or as his range. This is like a small blind calling range, maybe. I didn't know what his range was. I'm assuming he was three betting with these. I put these in obviously because he showed up with one of those, but let's say he checks. I'm sitting there with Queen 8 suited. I'm going to bet 10 here. I guess you could raise with nines, sixes. It makes sense against the heart. So you know what? I should have just, he raises here. I should be just calling just with Queen 8. But because of his playing style and I was annoyed by all that, I was like, all right, he's lying again. So I raise him. And now what is going all in? He's got one bluff here. Value. It's another bluff. 8 7. So this is what I had of 8 7 of hearts. I was like, he must have something like that. 7 6 of hearts is not there. So I'm thinking he has 8 7 of hearts. And I'm just like, all right, that was a dumb call. So what he's doing here, blasting with Ace King, with Ace King. That's fair. And then what are we calling? So I should have just folded. This is not even. I mean, this scenario is only 200 big blinds deep, and this SPR is one. The one. Uh, he bet 800% pot on the flop. Like I'm gonna have to run some GTO trainer just to drill this out of my brain. The logic didn't work. I overread the player character, and I think I've done that multiple times. I overread some of these players. Maybe I get annoyed with the way they're playing, and then I get tilted. Maybe I was bored. I wasn't paying attention. Wasn't able to make a fold. So I think both of these hands that I lost stacks were tilted hands. Here's the King 6 3 hand where I had I put this in where I had 4 5. But let's see. We're gonna fold this. But let's bring up the browser. So we're replacing the old tree. Okay, so assuming he bets 15, this is the one against the Swedish pro. What am I calling with? So I'm going to go with the gut shot, which I had here, or I had the open ender, had there, call. Turn is a good bit of 5, so I make that pair. I actually had 5 6. I just didn't make the flop correct. It was 3 4, not 3 6. But he's going to be betting here again. He went pretty big. And then, so what am I doing with 5 4? I'm folding it. And I called. And then, so I missed out on the turn. So the turn is, so he bets 91, and I should be folding. So, two humongous pots. I can't defend them. I have to learn from them. That's what I've got for today. I hope you learned something from this. I certainly did. Um, so good luck out there. I'll keep you updated with some of my errors and cleanups.